Hello everybody, today in this video I'm going to be talking about the most recent state of play that happened in June of 2022. This video I'm just going to be kind of discussing my thoughts about the different games that were showed, different trailers. I'm going to be spending more time talking about the games that were the most interesting to me, and then everything else that was shown that I just didn't really care about, I'll just kind of briefly mention. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just get right into it. So let's just not beat around the bush and get right to it. Was this state of play good? In my opinion, yeah. There was some decent titles that were big announcements that were cool to see, some things I was really happy to see, and some new games that piqued my interest. And there were still, a handful of other games that didn't really I just didn't really care about that much, but overall I thought the state of play was pretty good. And in this state of play, they made a very bold move, and they did something that I don't think I've seen any other game event do before. They start things off with the very first thing show is a release date. They show up a release date of March 24th of 2023, which was surprised me because I don't think I've ever seen a release date shown off first thing at an event, at least to my memory. And it was a trailer for the Resident Evil 4 remake. Now I can't say I'm surprised because they remade 2 and then they remade 3, and I think it was only inevitable that they were going to remake 4. However, me personally, I have never played the original RE4, but from just friends and people that have played it and just seeing what people talk about online, I have heard almost everywhere I've heard people talk about this game, they all say that it is like a masterpiece, like it is a high quality game. It's so many people's favorites. The original RE4, to my understanding, is held to such a high regard because so many people have high praise for it and just think of it as a really good game. Like I said, some people out there call it a masterpiece, which is saying a lot. So I feel like this remake has a lot to meet up to. It's gonna have a lot of expectations. I honestly don't know if it's gonna be as good as that, just because the bar is set so high it might be impossible to meet, but I still think just from the trailer it looks cool. I don't think they're gonna fuck it up. I hope I just hope the game's good, whether it's as good as the original or not. I hope the game is good on its own. But yeah, that finally got revealed, and it already has a release date. It's coming next year on March 24th, 2023. And they even said there's going to be a VR version for the PlayStation VR 2. And then they kind of segue into other VR games that they're having, or they're going to make for the VR 2, which was the Resident Evil Village for VR, a sequel to a Walking Dead game that I never heard of, No Man's Sky is getting a VR version, and that Horizon VR game that I don't give a fuck about. Speaking of Horizon, they did let us know that there is a free update that is out now for Horizon Forbidden West, and it has a lot of updates such as Transmog, New Game Plus, and a lot more that I'm not going to talk about here. But if you play Horizon Forbidden West, then there's a free update for it. I'm sure it's been out for a while, so if you haven't downloaded that, go do that. After that, they announced the Spider-Man PS4 game is going to be coming to PC. I played Spider-Man a few years ago, and I gotta say it is a fantastic game. So if you haven't played it and you play on PC, I highly recommend you try out Spider-Man game. It is the remastered version. I did not play the remastered version, I played the original, but I believe the remastered version comes with the DLC. I assume, don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. That game is phenomenal. It is one of the best Spider-Man games I played. It might even be my favorite Spider-Man game. I'm not sure, I have to think about that, but it is a very good game, and I highly recommend it if you haven't played it and you have a PC. And it is going to be out August 12th of 2022, so in a few months you can try it out. After that, they showed a new trailer for Stray, that cat game where you play as a cat in a world of robots. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't want to play this game, only because I have a weird feeling, this is just a thought, I don't know if this is where it's going, but I'm worried that by the end of the game they're gonna kill off the cat or something, and I don't want to see a cat die. I just have this weird fear in my mind that this game is gonna get horrifying and you're gonna cry seeing a cat die or something. So I'm not gonna play this game because I have a feeling that if that's not where the game goes and I'm wrong, that's all the better. But I'm cautious and I don't want to play this game because I have a fear that that's what's going to happen. But this game comes out July 19th, and one thing I will say about the trailer that I noticed was, I don't think I saw this in any other trailers for this game, but I noticed in this one the robots for some reason look scared of the cat. So that's a really interesting story aspect that I didn't know they were going to do. So that stood out to me. But yeah, other than that, I don't want to play this game just because I'm afraid of what might happen. But yes, it comes out July 19th. After that, they announced the Callisto Protocol, and they actually showed gameplay for it because we got a cinematic trailer for this game a while ago, and this game has a lot of Dead Space vibes, which I shouldn't be surprised because I believe this is supposed to be a spiritual successor to Dead Space. All I can really say is that it looks absolutely terrifying. The atmosphere looks incredibly great but also horrific, and I love it. I think this looks like an interesting game. I think it looks cool, and it's actually going to be out December 2nd of 2022, so end of this year. I'm really surprised they didn't go for a Halloween release date since it's a horror game, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, Callisto Protocol looks really good and very fucking terrifying, and I'm excited for it. After that, they announced Rollerdrome. This is basically roller skating with guns. And okay, on one hand, I think this game could be really cool. On the other hand, I think it could be just kind of average. Like, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those games that like comes out and people love it for like 5 minutes, and then it kind of like everyone forgets about it very quickly. I don't know, it seems like a cool concept, but I just have a weird feeling that this game isn't gonna be, it's not gonna like blow up, if that makes sense. But I think it looks cool. I might give it a shot. It is coming out April 16th of this year, and yeah, I don't really got much to say about that. I mean, roller skating with guns sounds like it could be a cool concept, but I feel like it could just end up being like a very average game, you know? But that's just kind of going off first impressions. I could be totally wrong. The game could be amazing, and we'll just have to wait and see. After that, this one really stood out to me. It's called, I have no idea how to pronounce this name, but it's either Eternights or Eternights, whatever, but this is interesting. It's an anime action combat game and also a dating sim. Like, they took action game and dating sim and combined them into one. Now, me personally, I don't play dating sims. I've never played one, and I don't have an interest in them. But I love action games. I love anime games and games like Devil May Cry, the Batman game, Arkham games, Kingdom Hearts, obviously. I mean, that's not the same as this, but still, you know, just games where like crazy fast-paced combat. I love those types of games, and this had that. So the combat stood out to me and piqued my interest. It also reminded me a little bit of Scarlet Nexus. I still haven't played that, but I've seen trailers, and some parts reminded me a bit of Scarlet Nexus, if I'm being honest. Also, the music in this trailer was amazing. I love this, whatever song they used in it. It just sounded great. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it other than I'm excited for it because it's an action game, and that's why I want to play it. As for the dating sim aspect, I don't play dating sims. I know nothing about dating sims. I don't really know what to say about that, and I don't really know how it's gonna work. Like is it gonna be like if flip-flop genre, like here's the action parts, here's the dating sim parts? Is it gonna be some way where they kind of interact with the two genres, like they kind of weave together, if that makes sense? I don't know why I did that with my hands, I'm sorry. I really don't know what to say about this trailer other than I think it's a unique combination of genres, and the combat and gameplay did look cool. And even though I never played a dating sim before, this game I might give a shot. It is coming out next year in 2023. After that, we got a gameplay trailer for Street Fighter 6. So I don't really play a lot of fighting games, so I wasn't really able to notice anything in the gameplay or the fighting parts that I can commentate on. I will say I noticed that there seemed to be a parry system, which allowed you kind of parry and then immediately attack afterwards, which I think looked like a really cool mechanic. And I don't know if Street Fighter has ever had that in its previous games, because like I said, I've never played Street Fighting. The only fighting game I've really played is Dragon Ball FighterZ, so I'm not really knowledgeable in the whole fighting game genre. So forgive me if I misspeak on any of this stuff, but yeah, there seemed to be a really cool parry system that I don't know was introduced in previous games, or if it's new to this game, but it looked cool. Graphically and visually, this game looks great. I love some of the visual effects that are happening on screen. I don't know if those were just for the trailer, if there's going to be in the actual game. I assume they would be in the game because it kind of looks like it, but the biggest thing that stood out, and I don't know if Street Fighter has ever done this before, because like I said, never played a Street Fighter game, but there was free roaming. Like, you could actually pick a character, explore in an area, and it looked like you could challenge civilians to a fight. I don't know if those were just random NPCs or those were actual going to be playable characters in like the roster. I would assume maybe, but maybe not. And yeah, I don't know if Street Fighter has ever done that, where they give you like the ability to kind of free roam and explore in their games. This might be a whole new thing, and I don't know how big the exploration is going to be. Like, it didn't look open world to me. It might just be like sort of like small hub worlds. But that is an interesting take if this is new to the series, and I assume it's new because it's the first time I'm seeing anything about it. But yeah, I think that's a really cool change that they're adding to Street Fighter, and it's going to be out next year in 2023. After that, they announced 2 indie games that are coming to PlayStation, so I think these are games that have been out before. One of them is Tunic. Tunic is coming to PS4 on September 27th, and after that, they announced Season: A Letter to the Future, coming in autumn of 2022. And after that, lastly, they announced what I was happy to see and what I was most looking forward to: more gameplay of Final Fantasy 16. And I was so happy about this because the last trailer we got well, technically the only trailer we got was like, what was that, like a year or two ago? It's been a while since we've seen anything of this game. And from that last trailer, I was so excited because I thought the combat looked great. I love the Devil May Cry style gameplay they showed. And I know a lot of people aren't, but I love the direction Final Fantasy is going because I prefer the hack and slash combat over turn-based combat. So I'm really excited for this game. Right off the bat, this game just looks amazing. The combat, the gameplay, the visuals, the graphics, it all looks great. The story does seem to have a focus on summons, and that's very interesting. I don't know if Final Fantasy has ever done that before. Summons seem to have a big role to play in the story. Like they even, like at the end of the trailer, they're showing all the summons and the names of the game, like Ifrit, Odin, I don't remember the order, Bahamut and all that. Yeah, I don't know if Final Fantasy has ever done that. I don't know if summons have had a big role in the story before in a previous Final Fantasy game, but I think that's an interesting thing that they're doing. There was a moment in the trailer where it looks like you saw summons fighting summons, and I don't know if it was cinematic or if that was actual gameplay, which makes me wonder if, like, are you gonna be able to fight someone like a Pokemon battle type thing, which would be kind of funny, but I don't know if that's what they're going. Also, and I'm basing this off what I see in the trailer, and I don't know if this is actually what's going to happen, so this is all speculation, but it kind of looks like the way they were like showing the trailer, it looks like some of the characters turn into the summons. Like the main character he plays, I think his name is Clive, there's a voice in the background when you see the camera zoom on him and you hear someone say awaken Ifrit, which is the fire summon from all the previous Final Fantasy games. And then it shows Ifrit, which makes me think, oh, does he turn into Ifrit? Which would be cool. Like you play as the guy that could turn into Ifrit, which would be fucking awesome. And it looked like there were other characters that could turn into someone. Like there was that ball guy who kind of looked like it was implied that he turns into Titan. I don't know if that's what's going on. This was all completely speculation, but if that's what they're doing with the story, where like certain characters can turn into summons, I think that's an interesting plot idea, and I'm excited to play this game. Mainly for the combat. I mean, the combat is the big sell point for me for the Final Fantasy 16, but like I said, I could be completely wrong about the story stuff I just mentioned and theorized. One thing I will say that is kind of a negative, and it's the only one that kind of stood out to me, I don't know what it is, but I don't like the HUD. For some reason, the HUD in this game just didn't look right to me. I can't figure out what it is, but there's something about it. Like, it just doesn't, like, I wish I could be more specific about it, but I don't know why it just bothered me. It's something about the HUD in this game. I just feel like it doesn't fit, like it doesn't match. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't know if anyone else had that problem or anyone else felt that way about it, but if you guys did, let me know in the comments, or because it might just be me. And also, this game is coming out in summer of 2023, which is fine. I don't mind waiting, and unfortunately, I did not see this anywhere, but I have a feeling this is gonna only be a PS5 game because the way this game looked graphically and visually, I don't think that game could run on PS4. Like that game looks too good to be for PS4, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm very excited for Final Fantasy 16. That's probably the biggest one that I got the most excited about in this State of Play event. And that was all that was announced, but there's one thing I want to mention that wasn't there, and I was kind of surprised about. There was no God of War Ragnarok. And I'm really surprised about that because as far as I know, that game is still set to come out this year, but we still don't have a release date. And I thought for sure Sony would announce the release date for that game in their State of Play. That kind of shocked me. I was expecting to see God of War Ragnarok gameplay, more new trailer for it, or at least a release date, you know, or some kind of update. But yeah, the fact that we didn't get one really surprised me, so I don't know if there's going to be another State of Play later this year before the game comes out, or if the game is eventually going to be delayed. Because as far as I know, it's still coming out in 2022. I haven't seen any news about delay for God of War Ragnarok yet, so that just kind of stood out to me. I'm a little surprised we didn't get to see a new trailer for God of War Ragnarok. I was fully expecting to see them announce the release date for it at this event too, so that just surprised me. But yeah, that was everything that they showed at the Sony State of Play in June of 2022, and I gotta say, like, a lot of cool announcements. Final Fantasy 16 being the biggest one for me that I'm the most excited about. That Eternights game looked cool and I'd be interested in trying it out. And yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say. So you guys let me know down in the comments what trailer, what was shown at this State of Play that you were the most excited for. What were you the most at least excited for? What are your overall thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe for more of my content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.